Police officers are well trained to handle lawbreakers and roadside junkies, but what happens when situations are beyond normal?
Follow my finger with just your eyes, don't move your body.
Supernatural entities, fiery demons, and terrifying encounters caught by bodycam. So strap in for this video, because these encounters gave the bravest officers nightmares for months. In Wisconsin, in 2022, an Ultimart owner reported a lady with unusual behavior. When the officers arrived, the lady started screaming frantically and rushed out of the store. The body cam of another officer recorded her bizarre behavior. When the officer tried to approach the lady, she pulled her hand out as if casting a spell on the officer. Afraid by her abnormal behavior, the officer tried to detain her. Even then, she screamed with strange noises. Some people said that it was just a facade, while others suggested that she was possessed by a demon. Strange creature. This weird creature was captured by a graveyard guard. When late at night he was sitting casually, he noticed this creature. It was a cryptid sitting strangely on all fours. Due to the darkness, its features were not so visible, but from its appearance, it looked like a hobbit. It has thin arms and legs not proportional to normal human beings. Until now, he could not understand what it was. Close call. This security guard was on duty when his fellow captured something strange walking behind him. There was a humanoid, shadowy figure following him wherever he went, and this spooked him so much. Then once the security guard went home, at around 2:30 a.m., he got a notification on his Ring doorbell app, alerting him of a presence. This is what it had captured. The same humanoid, shadowy figure was roaming around the house. This ghostly entity had followed the guard home, and he believes the only reason he is safe is because he has a cross at home, and his wife regularly uses sage to cleanse the house. Spooky door.
Oh, hell no.
Night duty turned into a nightmare when this officer witnessed paranormal activity in the San Francisco Armory. He was alone there when he heard something and started recording. He moved towards the noise and stood near a door. The door where his camera was specifically pointing opened on its own. The officer was spooked to see that and instantly moved back. The guard said that there had been several paranormal activities reported at this place, but authorities paid no heed to it. Haunting screams. Several bizarre screams were reported around Ohio a few months ago. Even the officers heard these screams themselves and were spooked. An officer on a day off during its fishing trip heard a shrill scream in the woods that was not ordinary.
God damn it!
Later at night, some officers passing by some distance heard strange noises and decided to check. When they got out of their car with flashlights, a thunderous scream echoed and made them so terrified that they ran away. Similar screams were heard by officers patrolling the graveyard. When the scream echoed, the officers frantically ran off. What would you have done if you heard these frantic screams that matched the frequency of no human and no animal? Twisted head. Not only American cops, but cops around the world are witnessing paranormal activities. These Indian cops were patrolling a remote village when they saw a woman with a twisted head. She was wearing a torn-off white dress, her feet were twisted backwards, and she had a creepy gait. Officers were confused whether she was walking forward or backward. This encounter became more creepy when she turned herself, and her deformed body shape became more clear. When the officers became sure that this was a ghost, they left the site. Devil's representative.
Fuck their problem is. I'm gonna keep doing this shit.
A former police officer recorded strange entities standing eerily still in front of a church. They were jet black humanoids with horns on their heads. He was eagerly recording those entities when a truck passed, and those entities vanished into the thin air. He got scared, and the video cut off abruptly. The officer thought they were the representatives of the devil who lure people in their traps outside the church. Fiery demon ball. A casual nighttime patrol turned into a horrific nightmare for this park ranger who witnessed a strange creature. While casually surveying the Angeles forest of San Gabriel Mountains, Southern California, he heard terrifying noises and started recording on his camera. And that's when he saw a glowing fireball rushing towards him. It was a humanoid creature that had a fireball instead of a head, and what made the scene more terrifying were the strange noises it was making. When the footage ended up on the internet, many viewers commented that this strange creature looked like Sogenbi, a ghost from Japanese folklore. But how did a Japanese ghost end up in the American mountains? With no further information about the strange sighting, no one knows what it really was.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
Floating balloons. This bizarre incident was captured in a hospital in New York. The security guard came in and handed the balloons to someone, and the balloons then followed him. Later, he turned around and was even seen talking to someone, but whoever he was interacting with was only visible to him. The camera operator asked him to leave immediately and told him that he was talking to nobody. Upon hearing this, chills ran over his spine, and instantly realized that he was not talking to actual people, but ghosts. Strange girl.
I'm looking at this, I think there's a woman standing there. She's been standing there for the last 1 hour plus already, and she's just like standing there looking down.
In an apartment complex in Yishun, Singapore, a security guard spotted a girl standing eerily still on a balcony of the opposite building. Noticing the creepy sight for about an hour, he finally decided to check out if everything was all right with the girl. He even filmed her from the ground floor to make sure that she was still there. When he reached the top floor, he was shocked to find out there was no one there anymore. He looked around for a while, but it was like the girl was never there. When he posted the clip online, many folks pointed toward a ghostly presence, while others were unsure, saying it might be some girl playing a prank.
So the plan is to go all the way to the top floor. Honestly speaking, I don't know what to expect. Actually, it's a bit creepy, to be honest. Doesn't seem to be anybody. She was here. This should be where she stood, just beside the lift.
Successful rescue. Police in Amsterdam were notified about some mumbling sounds coming from the attic of a house. When the officers arrived, they were shocked to see a woman acting bizarre. When the officers tried to get her out of the attic, she started making bizarre screams like some other worldly creatures. When the officers tried to get a grip of her, she became wild and tried to scratch them. She was rescued by these brave officers and was brought to the hospital. When the doctors were not able to identify what was wrong with her, paranormal experts were called, and they declared that she was possessed by a demon. Spooky cowshed.
Parece que tem vulto lá dentro, cara, ó.
A farmer from a small town in South America called the police for help in March 2021. When he saw a strange shadow in his cowshed, he could not make any sense of it. Soon the officers arrived, and what their body cam recorded was utterly bizarre. When the officers went closer to the shed to check, there appeared a shadowy, inhuman creature inside the window. The officers were spooked that they ran to save their lives. The farmer decided to lock the cowshed for good, and to this day, no one knows what everyone saw that day.
Meu Deus do céu, cara!
Spooky police station. A strange incident was captured through CCTV in a Malaysian police station in 2017 when officers were doing their duty and a strange thing happened. 3 officers were on the front desk chatting and doing their work when suddenly the 2 doors opened on their own. When the officer from the front desk moved towards the wooden door, it closed on its own. The officer went in to check if there was some intruder. Shocked and surprised, the officers gathered to see what it could be. Till today, many other incidents have been reported in that station, and no explanation has been served. Tree spirit. Cops were patrolling a park in San Francisco when they came across a strange tree. There was a face carved in the tree. It was a human face. Its eyes, nose, and lips were weirdly visible with and without light, which made it impossible to ignore. Some passerbys told the cops that they called it a spirit tree because of its unusual resemblance to a human face. Missing signs.
Can I see your driver's license registration, please? Yeah.
This girl was stopped by an officer on the highway for missing stop signs. Little did the officer know that this pullover will give her nightmares. The officer asked for her driver's license and asked her to wait till she ran it through the system. With a gap of a few seconds when the officer turned back to the girl, there was nobody in the car. The officer called her name out loud, but the girl was nowhere to be found. People speculated that she was a supernatural being who teleported from the scene, while others said that she was an alien disguised as a human.
Sarah? What the heck?
Scared trainee. The military training academy in Indonesia has several reports of paranormal activities, but this was the first time when a trainee experienced it. He was walking through the hallway when a shadow appeared out of nowhere and pushed the trainee to the wall and even tried to drag him in the darkness. But the trainee freed himself with struggles and ran for his life. After this incident, the trainee struggled to adjust for months. Tree ghost. While returning home, a policeman in India saw a woman alone at night. He got out of his car and decided to check on her, but got spooked by her weird behavior. She wore a white gown, her hair was messy, and she was swinging on the tree inhumanly. She climbed the tree effortlessly as if possessed by demons. On seeing this, the policeman dismissed his plan of checking the woman and left the place immediately. Bridal ghost. An off-duty officer took his dogs out for a walk at night in New Jersey, when suddenly his dogs started behaving strangely, as if afraid of something unknown. He tried to calm his dogs, when suddenly a humanoid figure appeared wearing a shiny white wedding dress. In the darkness, only the figure's dress was visible, and none of its body features were prominent. Now his dogs started hiding behind him. Luckily, that humanoid figure walked away, and the officer returned to his house. When he told the incident to his folks, they called it the bridal ghost from South Asian folklore.
Vamos! Quieto, Zeus, quieto!
Uneasy thought. A resident asked the security guard to lock his apartment after room service. While locking the door, he thought he saw something from the corner of his eyes. For the time being, he shattered this thought. Later, when it made him uneasy, he checked the CCTV. He was shocked to see a shadowy figure that emerged from one door and disappeared into the other. It was a small humanoid shadow, probably of a young one. When he showed it to his colleague, he said he had also witnessed it, especially at nighttime in empty hallways. La Llorona. Loud crying of a woman was heard in a remote village of Peru, and the incident was reported. Cops started their patrol in the area, and what their dashcam recorded will shock you. There was a strange figure in the distance, a woman wearing white gown, walking on the road barefoot. Officers approached the woman to help her, but they were terrified when the woman looked at them. She was not alive, her skin pale and dried, and her eyes had no pupils in them. Officers ran frantically from the site. Some people called her La Llorona from Mexican folklore, and some said that it was just a woman wearing a costume, although the unnerving event is still a mystery. Basketball ghost. A security guard from a school in Texas shared this video on the internet. When he heard strange noises from the basketball court, he decided to check the security camera, and there he saw a shadowy appearance move across the court. What made the video even creepier was how that shadow took the shape of a humanoid body. The guard even claimed the school was famous for being built on a haunted site, meaning it could be some spirit making its presence known. Abandoned house.
What the f*** is that?
Police were notified about an unusual activity in an abandoned house in California. When they went there to check, they were shocked by what they saw. Before they could go in, officers saw something and flashed their light into the direction of the house. It was a massive, shadowy, humanoid figure that was roaming in the attic. It even paused and stared back at the officers. Even though none of its features were visible yet, its energy was so strong that the officers called their operation off. Satanic ritual. An off-duty officer in Calgary recorded this incident in his neighborhood. There was a huge, shadowy figure who pushed a man back, and the man started screaming frantically. He was banging the floor. And whenever that shadowy figure tried to touch him, he pushed him back. In the end, the man jumped on that shadow and started swaying frequently. On seeing the clip, people started speculating whether it was a satanic ritual or a demon trying to possess the man. What do you think it was? Humanoid shadow. An off-duty officer had a terrifying encounter in the doorway of his residence. When he was leaving, a shadowy humanoid figure appeared out of nowhere and dragged him in the doorway. The officer's screams and resistance saved his life. Eventually, the figure let go of the officer and disappeared in the darkness. The officer then ran from the scene and returned to his house. He told his building's manager about what happened, and together they reviewed the footage, but both were utterly shocked by the incident. Rattling door. At Michigan Stadium, a chilling encounter made this guard quit his job. While on duty, he heard loud banging from downstairs that freaked him out. After hearing the banging for the third time, he decided to record. Terrified, he came downstairs and moved towards the sound. The door was rattling on its own. There was no one inside the room, which made him more terrified. He frantically looked all around to check if there was someone, and things got more creepy when the camera captured a shadowy figure. It was a dark, black shadow that looked humanoid, and it moved really fast. The guard immediately left the place. At that moment, he wasn't able to see the shadow, but later, when he saw the video, he instantly resigned from his job.
Concha de la lora.
Hawkins Lab. A group of teens who work there as a security team recorded it near Hawkins Lab in Georgia. They witnessed something strange, so they decided to capture it on their phone. The door was opening and closing on its own. First, the door swung open, and the teens mentioned that there was hardly any air that day. Later, they captured a figure standing eerily still in the balcony and staring in their direction. It was a dark humanoid figure wearing a white mask. Spooked, the teenagers left the place before that figure could approach them. Fresno Nightcrawler. Officers were patrolling a remote area when they heard strange noises over a brick wall. It was strange because the area was not accessible by any intruder because of the fence. When they tried to examine what it was, they saw a pair of legs running and then disappearing into the darkness. The officers said it freaked them out so badly that they did not bother patrolling that section for the rest of the night, as the figure has only legs and no torso. People called it Fresno Nightcrawler, a modern cryptid from California. Clown. An officer was traveling with his family through a highway in Maine when they came across this bizarre appearance. It was a clown with a twisted body, and it was walking in a crouched position. He laughed, thinking it was some kind of prank, but things took an unnerving turn when the clown started chasing him. The officer rushed to the car and drove off immediately. Ghostly soul. A prosecutor was reviewing the street footage for his case when something strange caught his eye. It was a shadowy figure that appeared from nowhere in the street. It looked like a human soul. It walked through the road and suddenly disappeared, just like it appeared out of nowhere. People said that it was the soul of a man who passed away in a car accident on this road. What do you think? Was it camera trickery or a real soul? Spirit residing at... Officers were facing strange happenings in Chile Police Station. One night, the CCTV caught this strange event. The door opened on its own, and a misty figure could be seen crossing the door. It was just a mist, but could be the reason behind the door opening. One of the officers came to the door and looked around, but did not find anyone. She shut the door and went in. Maybe a spirit had been residing there? Spooky wheelchair. A man started his job as a security guard in a hospital in Texas. At his first petrol, he heard some noises from the hallway at night, but upon checking, he found nothing. On his second day, when he was patrolling, he saw a wheelchair between the hallway moving strangely. He thought it was a prank, but when he found nobody, he spooked. He waited with his set camera to record anything unusual, and soon the wheelchair moved on its own. Terrified, he started running and resigned from his post on that very day. Spy drones. You must have heard that an unidentified aerial object was spotted in Europe recently. That caused the suspension of flights for nearly 4 hours. Authorities were baffled by these unidentified aerial objects and suspended flights because the presence of these objects posed a serious safety risk to air traffic. Speculations were made that they were UFOs, and some said that these were the spy drones of a rival country. What do you think about this? Let me know in the comments. Pattern lights.
Oh my God.
After that unusual aerial encounter in Europe, officers witnessed the strange lightning in the sky. It was blue and sparkly, appearing and disappearing in a pattern. Some people related it to the recent aerial encounter, while others said that it was some natural light phenomenon.
Holy shit.
Spooky storeroom.
Algo se está moviendo ahí arriba. No.
In a Mexican club, the security had been hearing noises from the storeroom for many days, so one night he decided to check. When he was going up, the shirt hanging over the pipe was pulled by something. He gathered the courage and continued to look. He looked all around, but there was no one. Then suddenly, something dropped in his way. Spooked, he checked till the end of room. Finally, when he was about to leave, another disturbance was made, and when he went there to check, he was terrified to see the shadowy figure in the corner. Terrified, he ran from there and the video cut off abruptly.
¿Qué fue eso? No manches.
Lonely crossroad. This policeman was returning home when he had a strange encounter. A woman in white gown with long black hair suddenly appeared in front of his bike. In an attempt to save her, he stopped the bike, but got really stressed when the woman disappeared. He was trying to process what had happened when the woman again appeared, and he ran away in fear. Later, he asked the security to check the cameras to make sure that his mind was not playing tricks on him, and the footage cleared all his doubts and convinced him that it was a ghost. Powerful entity.
Amigo, no me puedo mover.
This strange creature was captured by a cop on vacation. He heard some noises and went out to check. When he flashed his light in the woods, he was scared to his core. There was a strange creature standing eerily still and was looking right into his direction. It was a thin humanoid with long legs and broad skull. Its skin was pale blue. This entity had such strong powers that the cop just froze in his place. It was like the creature was using some powers that were controlling his vocals and body. The cop was not able to move a single muscle. Finally, when he was able to move, he drifted, and when turned back to that creature, it was not there anymore. His colleagues said that it looked extraterrestrial.
Amigos.
Mutant bear. An officer was patrolling the road in Australia when he captured this bizarre creature. It was dark brown, covered with fur. Its face looked like a sloth, while its body was like a bear. After realizing that it was seen, it ran into the dark. People after seeing the video speculated that it was a mutant of a sloth and a bear. What do you think about this? Spooked hunter. Former police officer, now a hunter, went on a hunt with his friends in the woods of Arizona. They were aiming for deer when they heard a strange howl echoing in the distance. The howl was so bizarre and did not match any known animal and started coming near. Spooked by this, they dismissed the hunt and returned to the city. Could that be the same howls that I have talked about earlier? Ritual exposed. This video went viral in 1997. The video showed a satanic ritual captured by a police dashcam when an officer was patrolling this remote area. These people in black suits acted bizarre on seeing the officer and gathered at a single point. It looked as if they got scared by seeing the officer, thinking their sin was exposed. Behind them, someone was burning the fire and dancing around it. But later it was exposed that this was no ritual, but was a clip from Radiohead's album. Michigan footage. An abandoned house in Michigan has been famous for ghost sightings for years, so this group of paranormal investigators went to explore it themselves. The person recording was a retired cop, and just a few minutes in, the camera captured someone else in the living room. It was a woman wearing a white gown, standing. Since it was dark, it was hard to see its features. But this mysterious entity has long black hair and was eerily looking at the investigators. They didn't notice it at that time and left the place thinking they had found nothing. But as they were reviewing, they were shocked to see what the camera had actually captured. Thinking of it as an intruder, they handed over the footage to the police for investigation. The police did investigate, thinking there might be a squatter or homeless person living there, but found no traces of anyone inside the house. Flying angel. This footage was caught on the dashcam of a law enforcement officer in California. There was this winged creature that looked like some giant winged anomaly. Due to the speed, its clear appearance and face could not be seen. It lunged at the camera, and the video cut off abruptly. Later, the dashcam footage was reviewed, but no one was sure about it. Some thought it was an angel. Some said it was a cryptic ghost. What do you think this was? Bizarre cryptid. When a police car was patrolling a remote area in California, something bizarre crossed their way. It had pale skin, walking on all four with the head of a dog, but a torso of a crab. It looked like a mutant of a crab and a dog who had the gait of a spider. The officers were shocked and spooked by what they just saw and informed their lead. A thorough investigation was made, but nothing like that was captured. Now it's time for subscribers' pick of the day.
Hi. Hi, can you turn that music down?
No, thank you.
Ma'am, roll your window down, please.
What's that going on?
Can you roll your window down, please?
Thank you so much.
Can you turn that music off,
Thank
please?
you so much.
Ma'am.
A few months ago, officers were notified of a car crash on historic coastal byway in Florida. The police made their way towards the site, and they were shocked to see a woman there, even though they had no reports of anyone surviving. Because she wasn't interested in assisting, not even scared or upset, but was chilling in the car with loud music. When the officer asked for her license registration, she pulled out a packet of chips that she pulled out as a disguise. She was detained, and while one officer was checking the DMV record to check her criminal history, the other kept a closer eye on her, while she continued to act more strangely. To have a thorough examination, the officer asked her to step out of the vehicle. When the officer proceeded with intoxication tests, outcomes were abnormal. Her eyes reacted in a bizarre manner, not normal, even in intoxicated people. The incident got more unsettling when the other officer found out that this woman had passed away 3 years ago.
What's going on?
Hey, this chick's supposed to be dead.
What does that mean? What do you...
I don't know. The system says she died 3 years ago.
guys.
Drunk driving.
I'm gonna go.
I don't know.
She started acting more weird after realizing that the officers had found out the truth. Suddenly, she was stronger and more powerful than a normal being, and this woman vanished into thin air. Both the officers had encountered a living nightmare, not knowing what they had just witnessed.